Now that the 2026 World Cup is officially over, we have all the information needed to decide the next Ballon d'Or winner. Except there's only one problem. No one deserves it? I mean, this has got to be the most confusing Ballon d'Or race of all time. Because every year going into the Ballon d'Or ceremonies, we've always had our favorites in mind. Like last year, we all knew that the Ballon d'Or would be between Ousmane Dembele and Lamine Yamal. You could even throw in Mo Salah and Rafinha in there as well. In 2024, everyone knew that it was going to be between Rodri and Vinny Jr. In 2023, the Ballon d'Or race was between Messi and Haaland, and in 2022, the one and only clear favorite was Benzema, and the list just goes on and on. But this year, it's so strange because we really don't know who's supposed to be the Ballon d'Or winner, because no one has really made a strong enough case to make the argument to be the favorite. You see, the Ballon d'Or is meant to be given to the player who had the best mix of individual performances as well as winning trophies with their team. That's exactly why Ousmane Dembele won the last Ballon d'Or, because he was the best player on the best team that season and had an amazing individual campaign, winning the UCL Player of the Season and netting 51 GA in all competitions while winning the sextuple with PSG. During that season, Dembele had the perfect mix of playing like one of the best players in the world individually, while also winning the major trophies for his team as their best player. But this season, we really don't have anyone like that at all. I mean, on one hand, you have the players who did perform at all-timer levels individually, smashing records, scoring goals for fun, and playing like one of the best players in the world. But those guys didn't win any major silverware like the UCL or the World Cup. And on the other hand, you have guys who did win the big trophies, winning the World Cups, winning the UCLs. But you could argue that those guys really didn't perform to their normal standards and weren't even the best player on their team when they won those trophies. So can you really give them the Ballon d'Or if they weren't even the best player leading their team to those trophies? I don't know, guys. So in this video, I want to go over all the favorites to win this year's Ballon d'Or and see who really deserves it the most out of these guys. Let's start with Harry Kane. Now, I think most people had Harry Kane as their favorite for the Ballon d'Or for the majority of the season, up until around the April-May time. Before this Bayern and PSG semi-final clash, which was absolute cinema, by the way, what a game that was. But anyways, Harry Kane started off this season absolutely red hot. The guy was just scoring goals after goals week in and week out. He finished the club season with the most goals in all competitions, and on top of that, he's leading this year with the most goals of 2026. And a lot of people would actually tell you that this has been Harry Kane's best season of his career. So in terms of individual performances, Harry Kane is absolutely up there with everyone else. Not only that, but this front three right here was putting up historic numbers. They were scoring at an absolute ridiculous rate. And some people were telling you that this front three right here was playing like the best front three on a team since 2015 MSN or Real Madrid's BBC. As a Liverpool fan, I would hate to admit it, but is this front three better than Mane, Salah, and Firmino? I don't know, because they've only played one season together and haven't won one of the major trophies yet, but only time will tell, because boy, is this front three deadly. I mean, they just gel so well together. You have Luis Diaz holding up the width, Olise playmaking and scoring, taking his man on one-on-one, and then you have, of course, Harry Kane being the all-around type of striker, scoring goals, right? Scoring all types of goals while also being able to drop deep and playmake for his teammates. So, I mean, this front three is just so fluid together, and they just work so well. That's why they score the most goals out of any front three in Europe, and they're just playing insane together. And only time will tell how good this front three actually is and what they can achieve together. Now, the only thing holding Harry Kane back is the fact that he didn't win anything major on his teams, Bayern and England. Because yes, he did win the Bundesliga and he did win the Bundesliga Domestic Cup, but Bayern win those every single year, and to win the Ballon d'Or, you really got to win one of the big ones. The UCL, the Euros, the Copa America, or the World Cup. And Harry Kane had two chances this year to win the UCL or the World Cup, and he made it very far in both of those tournaments and produced great individual campaigns. I mean, scoring 14 goals in the UCL and scoring 6 goals in the World Cup, and single-handedly saving England against DR Congo. But once again, he did fall short in the semifinals for both of these games. And honestly, he really didn't turn up in the big moments. Like in the World Cup, he wasn't great in the game against Mexico, Norway, or Argentina, where England were eventually eliminated. And he didn't really play all that good in the second leg against PSG when Bayern got eliminated. Not trying to take anything away from Harry Kane, because he did play amazing in both the World Cup and especially in the UCL. But can we really give him the Ballon d'Or if he didn't win either of these big trophies? It's hard to say, and it really depends on what you value. Now, remember when I said that this front three right here was deadly? A huge part of that was because they had one of the best playmakers in the world, Luis Diaz and Harry Kane's teammate, Michael Olise. Now, Michael Olise, similarly to Harry Kane, had the best season of his career. He was scoring a ton of goals for Bayern, and I know a lot of casuals who might have only watched the World Cup would think that Olise is only a playmaker, but no, he is both an elite playmaker and an elite goal scorer. All season long, he was terrorizing defenses. I mean, he's great in one-on-ones and would often cut in on his strong foot or dribble through the touchline and cross the ball. And on top of that, his vision was elite. He was a great playmaker and would always collapse defenses and would create dangerous positions for himself or his teammates. Olise was just a very complete forward, and he was really the glue that made this front three gel and be as deadly as they were, and his output was great as well. But just like his teammate Harry Kane, he got eliminated in both the semi-finals of both the UCL and the World Cup. And just like Harry Kane, he was great all UCL long until that elimination game against PSG. But still, he had a great campaign. And now as for the World Cup, there are a lot of mixed opinions on Olise, and some people think he was France's literal best player, and others think he completely flopped and sold for France, because on one hand, he did break the record for the most assists in a single World Cup campaign with 7, beating Pelé's 6 back in 1970, but on the other hand, people say that he ghosted in the big games and was pretty poor in the knockouts. If you ask me, I really don't think that France's loss was Olise's fault, because if you watch the games, you would know that France's midfield was straight buns, and Olise was really the one guy that connected the isolated attack to the midfield. He really had to drop in deep areas, receive the ball from center backs and midfielders, and just drive the ball forward and, find Mbappe, find Barcola or Dembele in good positions. And so if you watch the game against like Spain, for example, it was pretty clear that Spain's game plan was just to hound the middle of the pitch, because they knew that if you shut down Olise, you shut down the whole squad, because Olise was so important for them, because he was always the guy that was, connecting the midfield and the attack together. And so the burden on Olise was just way too big in my opinion, and so it's not really fair to say that he was the problem for France. But anyways, just like Harry Kane, he had a brilliant season for Bayern, but got eliminated in the semifinals of the UCL. And he had a great World Cup campaign as well, but got eliminated in the semifinals once again. So I find it hard to give him the Ballon d'Or when he didn't win a big trophy for Bayern or France. Now, speaking of France, their best player, Kylian Mbappe, absolutely lit up the World Cup. And we all know that Mbappe is different in the World Cup, but he was just insane this tournament. I mean, he scored 10 goals, tying him for the third most in a single World Cup campaign, and doing this in modern times just makes it that much more impressive. And on top of that, he became the all-time top scorer in World Cup history at just the age of 27 years old, in 3 World Cups as well only. I mean, that is just insane, bro. And he became the first player ever to win the Golden Boot in his league, in the UCL, and in the World Cup, which is once again just ridiculous, guys. And just like Harry Kane, he was absolutely on fire this season when it came to output individually. But the key word is individually, because Real Madrid, they were straight up garbage this season. I mean, they were atrocious, bro. It was a disaster show all season long. I mean, this was maybe one of their worst seasons in their history. And like, come on guys, players were fighting in the dressing rooms. They sacked their manager mid-season thinking things would change. And they just have so many egos on that squad, bro. Maybe Jose Mourinho can change things. I don't know, but we'll have to see. And yes, Mbappe's output, it was insane, but it was low-key empty stats and were to the detriment of the team, because when Mbappe plays good, Vinny Jr. has a bad game. And when Vinny Jr. has a good game, Mbappe has a bad game. And with neither Mbappe or Vinny Jr. really pressing or working hard out of possession, it really puts a burden on the rest of the team defensively. And that's why Real Madrid have been conceding so many goals this season. I mean, the chemistry between these two and just like the entire team as a whole really just isn't there, especially with all these egos. And I know the World Cup kind of made people forget, but Mbappe right before the World Cup had this record-breaking petition to get him out of the club, which is just crazy, bro. I mean, yeah, so Mbappe, he's playing good individually, but it really isn't helping his team as much as you might think. And that's why Real Madrid were so bad all season long, getting eliminated in the quarterfinals of the UCL and coming second in the league, where Barca were the better team all season long, if we're going to be honest. So you can't really give Mbappe the Ballon d'Or because Real Madrid struggled massively during the season, and France got eliminated in the semifinals of the World Cup. So this whole time I've been talking about guys who played amazing but didn't win anything major. Now let's talk about Ousmane Ballon d'Or, who's once again a Ballon d'Or favorite. Because yeah, the current Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele actually won a major trophy, because he did win the UCL and the Ligue 1 this season, again, back to back. And so Dembele, unlike the other two guys, actually won a major trophy. And when you look at it as a whole, Dembele, he won the league, he won the UCL, and made it very far in the World Cup. So you would look at that and say he must deserve the Ballon d'Or and win it back to back, right? But then the thing is with Dembele, guys, he really didn't have the consistency or the amazing individual performances this season, like the other guys that I mentioned, or even Dembele from last season. Because Dembele, he absolutely deserved the Ballon d'Or last season because he was a great individual. But this year, I mean, the guy, he only started, I think, like 11 Ligue 1 games. And in the UCL, I think we can all agree that it was really Kvaratskhelia that was PSG's main guy, or main attacker. He was really their best player for them during the UCL. And I think he scored in almost every single leg in the knockouts. And Dembele, he had good moments here and there, like those 2 legs against Liverpool or that brace against Bayern, where he scored that one beautiful goal. But overall, he really wasn't consistent throughout the season, and definitely wasn't PSG's best player during the UCL winning squad. And as for France, I mean, once again, he was just very inconsistent, bro. Playing great games like that 32-minute hat-trick that he did score, but then he also had some disaster classes. So can we really give him the Ballon d'Or? I don't know, because he did win the big trophies, but in my opinion, he didn't really have the Ballon d'Or level individual performances. Now we move on to Lamine Yamal, because at the time of recording this video, I think he actually is the #1 favorite to win the Ballon d'Or right now. But with him, it's very weird, bro, because he had both amazing performances and he won major trophies for his clubs, but those were at completely different times. Because yes, guys, during the club season, Lamine Yamal was absolutely generational, bro. You could argue that he was the best player in the world, and it's not ridiculous to say that at all. I mean, the guy's creativity is just out of this world. You give him the ball and he gets surrounded by like 6 players, but he still finds a way to create a breakthrough pass or beat his mans one-on-one. He's the best dribbler in the world and would score brilliant goals and assists every single week. And I mean, Lamine Yamal is really saving us from this boring, robotic football that we see with all these tactics in place. And he is by far the most entertaining player in the world. So yes, guys, individually he was great, but Barca, they only made it to the quarterfinals of the UCL while winning the league. So it's hard to say that he had a convincing Ballon d'Or campaign based off the club season because his team only made it to the quarterfinals of the UCL. But then the World Cup comes around, and Spain, they absolutely cook and win the whole thing. However, the only issue is that Lamine Yamal, similarly to Ousmane Dembele, really wasn't his normal self. I mean, he wasn't bad or anything, but he was like, for the most part, average. And I would say he really wasn't even a top 5 player on Spain's World Cup winning squad. He really wasn't playing like one of the best players in the world anymore like we saw all club season long. So yes, he did win a major trophy, but he really wasn't the main guy on that World Cup winning squad, if we're going to be completely honest. So I don't know if we can really give him the Ballon d'Or based off that, guys. Now last and probably least on the Ballon d'Or rankings, we have Lionel Messi. And now Messi, he was absolutely phenomenal in the World Cup. In my opinion, the best player of the tournament, and he probably deserved that golden ball over Rodri. Because Rodri, he was great, don't get me wrong, but Messi literally had one of the best World Cup campaigns of all time. He literally carried Argentina into that World Cup final, bro. Because, I mean, Argentina, they were shocking, bro. Like, they were so bad. The only reason why they even got to that final was because Messi, at the age of 39, was playing like the best player in the world. Just insane, bro. But then they did reach the final, and Spain absolutely cooked them. Like, don't let the scoreline fool you. Spain absolutely destroyed Argentina the whole time. Like, Argentina didn't have a single shot on target for the first 90 minutes of the game. The first time in World Cup history in a final that something like that has ever happened. And Messi didn't perform that well in that final, if we're going to be honest. And so if Messi did win that World Cup, I genuinely think he could have and should have been one of the front runners for the Ballon d'Or, maybe even a Ballon d'Or finalist. But because he did fall short, there really isn't any argument for him. He really has nothing to stand on. So he'll probably be somewhere in the top 5 or maybe the top 10 in the short list, but can you really give him the Ballon d'Or when he plays in the MLS and didn't win the Golden Ball or lift the World Cup trophy? I don't know, guys, because the MLS, it really has no credibility. So yeah, guys, those are the Ballon d'Or candidates, and I mean, we really don't have a clear favorite this year. And does anyone really deserve it? I don't know. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. France football is low-key in a lose-lose situation, because it doesn't matter who wins the Ballon d'Or. Fans will be outraged either way. And so if it were up to me, bro, we just cancel the Ballon d'Or. How about that? So what do you guys think? Who should win the Ballon d'Or? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.